Start. We are on time. So, first of all, this session is being recorded. The recording will be made available publicly so that if anyone go back and have some notes from the recording, I'll try to share the link. Probably we'll place it on YouTube or somewhere, and I will be sharing this link. Then, if anybody wish not to be part of this recording, this is the time you can either turn off your camera or you can leave this session. Please be remain respectful, exercise professional conduct. Questions will be answered at the end of this session. So let's begin. My name is Muhammad Yusuf Mughal. I People usually call me Yusuf Mughal. Unfortunately, in Pakistani system, people have two first names, and mine is Muhammad Yusuf. So people go by Yusuf Mughal. Like everybody, I'm also a chartered certified accountant, and most of my qualifications I earned based on SCCA. I got my Canadian CPA based on MRA, and in 2018 I started my practice in Canada. And before coming to Canada, I started my practice in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, 2014. So almost I have 11 years of experience in public practice as an owner. This is the company I'm presently working with, Excel Alliance CPA. We are a CPA PCOB registered firm. We'll go quickly. If in case somebody wanna download my contact card, you can scan this QR code. So this is the company I'm working for. If in case if you wanna download the profile, this is the profile QR code. These are some of the services we offer. We used to offer more, but down the line we learned it's not good to offer everything because there are cost associated offering so many services, and we'll discuss these issues in this session. These are our memberships, some experience. These are our offices. And now we are back on the session. So objective of this session is to provide some guidance to the new practitioners. What happens that, in the past I was keep getting inquiries. People used to come to me and ask me that, how I'm doing my practice, what they should do. So I think that it's better that I bring everybody in a platform where people can discuss their things. Number one. Number two, if they have some questions answered, they can be addressed collectively. Now, we'll try to create a systematic overview to save time and avoid repeating myself, because what happened that most of the time new practitioners, they have the same questions very often. This one is very introductory, and we will try to touch so many things, but we will not go in details. What will happen in the next sessions, we will go in details one by one. One more thing, I must say that if in case anybody would like to have a CPD certificate, we have a company called Excel Alliance Academy. I'll be sharing a link with you guys if you would like to proceed with the certificate. There is a cost for the certificate, that's probably $10, and I'll share those details. To be eligible for the CPD certificate, make sure you attend this session at least 50 minutes to be eligible for 1 hour credit. Now, before you begin, the first part is that you need to decide whether you want to take a CPA route or non-CPA route. Make sure that if you are a CPA, then most of the provincial bodies, they consider that a CPA must register their practice. If in case somebody is not a CPA, then it's okay. They can go on non-CPA route. But if somebody is CPA, that person cannot offer any kind of accounting or related services. Be careful on this part. So when you know that if you wanna incorporate as a CPA or non-CPA, the route is slightly different. So let's go over the CPA route. So what happened that the first thing is in CPA route is you need to make sure that the name you are selecting is available. In Canada, there is a body called Nuance, and you can do a research on that to make sure that the name is available. Then maybe you can pick or choose a couple of names, make sure that they are available, and then you can go to provincial CPA. That's the important step. When you go to CPA Ontario or any other body, you need to obtain pre-approval from them on the proposed name. And if they approve, you can go back to Nuance, do the reservation, do the incorporation. When you are doing incorporation, make sure that the articles they include certain paragraphs. Those are the requirements of CPA Ontario, such as most of the time CPA Ontario would try to put some restrictions. The reason I'm using Ontario, I'm based in Ontario and I know more about Ontario, and most of the other provinces they follow the same thing. So but still there is a possibility that their way of working would be slightly different than CP Ontario. So what would happen that when you are filing your articles of association or incorporation, whatever you call, or memorandum, you need to include certain restriction that this business cannot do this and this, and those paragraphs are provided by provincial CPA body. Now, some of the provinces they allow a federal corporation followed by a provincial extra provincial registration. Some of the provinces they have made it compulsory that the practitioner must register a provincial corporation. Previously, in CPA in Ontario, the federal option was available, federal plus Ontario extra provincial, but not anymore. They moved to Ontario. So once you do incorporation, the last step would be that you go back to CPA provincial body and say you have done the corporation. That there is a probably small fee, couple of $100, and you can have your firm registered. Definitely, there are certain small things like you should be member in good standing, and I would say you need to have the practice inspection. Sorry, practice insurance, and we will touch those things in this session. Now, another point. Another route is we have non-CPA route. In non-CPA route, it's very easy. Get the name reservation and searches and reservation done at the same time, maybe federal or provincial or federal followed by provincial. Both things works, and it's quite easy. Common registrations, when you do registration, make sure you have a business number, probably sales tax number if you exceed the threshold. It's better to have a threshold, even it's better to have a sales tax number even if you don't exceed the threshold. The reason being that if you don't have a sales tax number, you end up losing the sales tax you are paying on your expenses. Have a payroll number. That's also must. That would help you plan your taxes. Another account most of the time people miss out is T5 information return accounts. That is also registered with CRA. Once you are incorporated, you probably need an insurance. It's good to have the insurance. It doesn't cost much, and professional indemnity is something must. Professional indemnity covers your errors and omissions. And there are some insurance providers in Ontario, and CPA has a good tie-up with some of them. If you are a CPA, you can enjoy the benefit of being a CPA and have the preferential price from some of the providers. Commercial liability covers your office location. It covers some of your things like maybe some areas of your vehicle, some areas of your business. So this is also good to have. But if you're a CPA, they would probably give you a package and you can have most of the things. Now, some of the other insurance you may or you may not need. Directors and officers, if you have employees, cybersecurity, and so many other insurances out there. Legal support, whatsoever you can name a bunch of them more. Now, when you are going for sorry, when you are starting your practice, there are certain things you need to care for. Say that okay, let's go from the tools. So you will need some certain tools to do your practice. You would probably need an accounting software. Now, accounting software, one of the best are QuickBook Desktop and Sage Desktop. Why Desktop? Because when you are working with clients, many of them would not go far in accounting software. They will give you an information in papers, and they would probably send you some bank statements, or you can develop some mechanism to capture some of the information on Excel. And in this option, you still need an accounting software to have, to do the accounting properly. And one of the benefit of these desktop packages, for example, if you go with QuickBook Enterprise, they would give you unlimited payroll. So normally what happens that if you work with another payroll software, they would charge you probably $20-$30 per payroll run plus $2-$3 per employee. So that could be an added cost, but with QuickBook Desktop or some other softwares, they will give you unlimited payroll. That's a good thing. Then another tool you need is the text software. So with text software, make sure you have one of the best, because the better you have, the more time you can save. Some of the softwares in the market, they focus more on some of the functions like data sharing, client list. For example, DTMX has a good client list and where you can see how many clients you have. But when you go to some of the softwares like Zero just bought one company, and they have a good data sharing system. But what happened that in the industry, TextPrep is the market leader. So TextPrep is one of the best. Now the problem is that even they have the tier licensing, the highest, the more features you request, they end up charging you more. And TextPrep probably cost around $8,000 per first user, and then onwards probably they offer something cheaper. Keeping in view, text prep is very expensive, may not be the good choice for the practitioners. The best amongst the best is Profile. Profile is also from QuickBooks, Intuit company, and one of their highest package cost around to $3,500 per user. But onwards, the cost is slightly low. So almost half of the price than text prep. Probably one or two things Profile cannot do, which text prep can do. Not a big difference, but still I would say tier 2 software. It's not worth to go for smaller softwares where you might not be able to handle multiple corporations and so many other things. So be careful when you select an accounting a tax software. Now, one another software working papers you might need. This is a very good tool from Caseware. One of the benefit it has, if you are doing any kind of engagement, be it business plan, be it audit, review, compilation, or whatsoever, even valuation. This is kind of a folder. Like this software is made like a folder where you can add a lot of information, you can properly schedule, and then reference some of the documents with each other. Now, it may not be able to do each and everything, especially when it comes to valuation, but as long as so many other things are there, you can do it. So rather than keeping data scattered here or there, it's better to use working paper. Along with working paper, they have a couple of more modules. One is, what we say, Caseware Financials. That is a module to generate financial statements. There are three modules in Caseware Financials further. For example, they have ASP and ASNPO, which comes in English and French. So these are two choices. If you are doing your practice in both of the languages, then ASNPO, you would probably need this Caseware Financials. Then for IFRS, they have only one in English, so three options, and all three need to be purchased. But if you only focus on, ASNPO, you can only have one English version. That's possible. There are other softwares competing with Caseware Financials, not the Caseware working paper. So far, I haven't seen anyone who could touch the depth of Caseware working paper. There are so many trying to attempt it, but still that's not what. But in terms of Caseware Financials, there are some softwares, for example, JZet. JZet is very quick. It can generate financial statements faster than Caseware Financials. Used to be a good software, a cheaper one, but then what happened that Caseware end up buying them. So today, JZet is part of Caseware, and they started increasing price. Initially, the user license used to be around 800 or something, but recently I get to know it's probably 2,500. In terms of pricing, I'm just trying to give you what I know. I might not have the updated knowledge. You can always check those companies to get those pricing. Now, you might need certain other things, for example, data storage. when you're working with client files, you must make sure that you have a platform where you are storing data, you are able to access the data if in case you are in office, if you're working from home, because being a practitioner, you need to retain the flexibility. And if in case you are traveling on client side, again, you need to have the flexibility to access the data. There should be certain backups. There's some encryption and security. Make sure you have that kind of tool. There are more tools. You might go for VPN and some other things. Again, it's your choice, depending on your cost budgets. So now when you are practicing, some of the provinces, they have tier licenses. As long as if you're not a CPA, then accounting tax is not a regulated profession in Canada. You can do accounting, you can do tax, but if you're a CPA, you cannot offer accounting or tax or even bookkeeping. You must register your firm. Now, some of the provinces, they offer tiered licensing, and they have a licensing exam as part of their practice licensing. So the first level is accounting. I think they provide accounting tier without any exam, even if you are a CPA. For tax, they have an exam, and after tax, they have next level is called compilation. Then after compilation, the next one is review, and after review, the last one is the audit. So if somebody has the audit license, it means the person has all the rights. Now, there is a way you can circumvent this tier licensing easily. For example, if you are in a province where at least you're a CPA, and if you're a CPA and your province is not permitting you to practice accounting, tax, and compilation, then what you can do, you can move to Ontario. Ontario has two-tier licensing. So the first tier, whoever is a CPA can do accounting, tax, and compilation. The second tier is the audit, which includes a review as well. So what can happen that if anybody is CPA in any province and the province is not allowing the person to practice tax or compilation, move your membership to Ontario, use Ontario address or something, you can do it. Or if you are moving to Ontario, open an office in Ontario, register your firm, and by default, you would probably get accounting, tax, and compilation rights. Now, be careful, though compilation is something a CPA can do without any additional license, but compilation is a regulated service. And we'll discuss those things. Now, quality management. If you are into a regulated service, be very careful. The cost of quality is significantly high. Quality controllers in the market are at this point of time is like, it's like, their season, because CPA Canada, all across provinces, they implemented CSQM1. CSQM is a quality management system. Before CSQM1, there was some sort of a small standard, and they abolished probably in 2018 or something, and then they brought it quality review system. But the quality review was, trying to address some of the issues. It was trying to help the practitioner to review some of the things, but it was not a holistic quality management system. Now, CSQM is quality management system, is part of an international standard. We call it ISQM. It's international standard on quality management. This one is Canadian standard on quality management. They almost copy pasted the same thing, probably with some other words. Now, CSQM1 and CSQM2, they are providing a big guidance on, a long guidance how to take care of your accounting, how to do your taxes, how to provide your regulated service. You need to define all those things. One of the problem is that if in case you end up getting into a regulated service, what would happen that even if you are offering a compilation service, keep in mind you need to have your quality manual. And with a quality manual, it costs a lot to have a quality manual prepared. Probably you might not be able to do that. You might need to retain another expert who is good on the quality side. Then after the manual, you probably need to make sure that you have somebody in your firm to monitor the quality on a regular basis, at least once a year. Then you need to hire another firm called peer reviewer. an independent external firm who can come to your office depending on your requirements set forth in the quality manual, and they need to do a peer review. Definitely, that's not free. Even quality controller is not for free. It would cost you a lot if you appoint anybody to do quality control work at your firm. That's a significant cost, and the peer reviewer would definitely do an audit on your firm, audit on your practice, and they will provide you probably a report which you can submit to CPO Ontario that you are following the regulations. Then the final step is CPO Ontario. They send their inspectors to your office, and these guys are the most expensive ones. They charge approximately $550 per hour. So when they leave your office, you should be surprised with the bill. Now, some of the things we discuss that should a person do a job or to be in the business. This is one of the very important consideration, very important question, and people have wrong myths in this. I know job is not easy, and neither the business. Business is more harder than a job, but because people most of the time end up having frustration from the job, then they feel that they can start their own business. Now, starting a business is not a problem, but making it success is not easy, because when you're doing a job, you're part of a bigger organization, and that organization is having all the resources to operate as a sizable and achieve its economies. But when you are trying to start your business, you are probably one person, and being one person, there are a lot of things you must do being in business, like administration, accounting, tax of your own business, and so accounting, tax, and risk management, marketing, even cleaning of your business, even IT, and so many other things. So what happened that sometimes doing business becomes tricky. Another issue is the income. So many times they people think that they would probably make more money in business. Yeah, businesses do make more money, but to achieve that level, it takes 5 to 15 years, depending on your business plan, how much you are willing to invest in your business. Because if a single practitioner is working in the market, single practitioner, depending on the client, I have seen some people are making just 50K a year, some people are making 100K, and the best case scenario, I've seen somebody maybe close to 200K. Then you have a lot of costs being in business, and I'm not sure if somebody's making 50 and then you deduct all the cost, if there is something that the person will be able to take home or not. So be careful, make sure that this is something you want to do. Another myth, business attract lesser taxes. Wrong. Taxes are harmonized. In The taxes definitely for a smaller company, CCPC, are lower, 12%, but that's not the full and final tax. Because if you pay 12% tax on your corporation, when the number goes to your personal income tax, over there, everything gets recalculated. And again, same thing. You are ending up paying the tax which a normal salaried person would pay. Definitely, the business gives you more room to save on taxes. One benefit is that if you are already in a higher bracket, you can retain your profits and pay a lower tax, 12% for the time being, and then you can use the company as a buffer, or maybe create a passive wealth from one company, create another company, do some investments. That's one of the benefit you can get, but that benefit is associated with the company, a corporation. So a person can still do a business being a sole proprietor without registering a corporation. So some of the tax benefits could be like you may be able to claim your home office expenses. You may be able to claim some of the expenses which you can classify as business expenses. Now, the last part, people think that in business we have to work less. Absolutely not. So many practitioners in their early life, they work from morning till middle of the night. And depending on scenarios, sometimes, economy is flourishing, sometimes economy is not flourishing, like right now, then business gets into depressions. Now, once you have, decided that you definitely want to start something off as a practitioner, now the next question is, should you start your own or should you join another firm? Definitely, joining a firm is best option. The reason being the firm is already set up, intellectual property is already there, procedures, control, branding, experience. Most importantly, when you go to market, people ask you what experience your firm has. Everything is there. But the problem with joining a firm is well-established firms, they won't let you in. They would probably ask you, for example, when I came to Canada, well, I started my practice in 2014, and it took a lot of investment to set up the business. And I don't mind sharing the number. I feel that I paid 200,000 dirhams to start my business in Abu Dhabi. And and in 2015, a friend of mine used to work in a middle market firm. He was the managing partner of Sharjah. So he met me and he said, Yusuf, what you are doing? So I said, I'm doing accounting, tax, and CFO services, some consultant part. And he said, why you are not doing audit? So I said that, for audit, it require another investment and I don't have that. So he offered me a partnership, and that partnership, getting into a middle market firm. The firm's name is Parker Russell UAE. It's a network. So when I become part of this firm, I learned that you get a very good setup. You have administrative things become so much easier because somebody is there to take care of so many things. And experiences there, registration in so many provinces are there, so many free zones are there, so you don't have to end up investing money. So you got a very good and ready platform to just run your business. But the downside was that, well, I didn't end up paying an admission fee, but the downside is that you have to contribute in the central cost, and sometimes bigger firms have a bigger central cost. Now, when I came to Canada, I learned from my experience that starting something from the scratch would not be an easy thing. And if I want to have a quick growth, I must join some other firms. So I went to some of the firms I know, some of the contacts I could get her. Well, I find two kind of people. Well, good firms, they asked me right away, can you pay us a 200, $300,000 as an entry fee? And when I discussed with my friends who were already working at the director level at Big Four and other international firms, they said this is very common because they are giving you access to intellectual property. They are giving you a goodwill. And well, later on, I realized that, paying 200, $300,000 just to get an entry into the firm, plus agreeing to pay a huge central cost, it wasn't easy. So I thought maybe in 200, 300, I can create my own. But yeah, I was able to create my own, but the growth was very slow. So if you are part of a bigger firm, if you are part of an established firm, you could definitely, you would be paying more on the cost, but there are opportunities. You will get some business internally from the firm. There are opportunities, there will be certain cross selling because a partner went for tax work, they brought something which you do, you get another business as well without doing or spending money on marketing or wasting time. So there are certain benefits. Another category of people I found, and I would warn you to be very careful because these guys are very greedy. Because these guys want you to join them, but they won't tell you what the terms and conditions are. Never join a firm when they don't tell you what the terms and condition they are offering you. Now, in terms of terms and condition, let me explain you that when you are joining a firm, you yourself have your own IP, intellectual property. For example, you know certain things, you have some contacts, and you are working. So your time is also not free. So when you are joining a firm, you are trying to pitch your contacts, pitch your friends. Definitely, you are doing marketing for the firm, not for yourself. And the chances are that it will benefit the firm you are joining in. And when when you're joining a firm, and let's say you brought 10, 20, 30 clients, and maybe down the line, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, you end up having a divorce with that firm, where the clients will go. And you might be having the terms and condition that you will take your clients, but that may not be possible, because what happens sometimes, client gets so much aligned to the firm that they don't want to leave despite they are your client. So be careful. And some of the people I met, they said, come on, join, no problem, we'll go case by case. Now when you are joining, will you give me a business card, will you give me access to the system, will you give me training, will you give me all those things? There was no clarity. So please do not join these kind of firms who do not guarantee the security, because you want to do business, you want to create your asset at the time, maybe down the line at the age of 60, 65, when you want to uh, you know resign or you want to retire. So you can sell this company. There are firms being sold in the market, and at this point of time, if a firm of $1 million is getting sold, they would end up receiving $1 to $1.2 million easily. So when you're working for your business, definitely this is something you should consider, that is your pension, is your end of service benefit. It is something, an asset which you are creating, and there's a growth in this asset. And when you will sell, you can utilize your lifetime capital gain, sell the business, utilize this, take this $1.2 million tax free. Now when you're doing business, consider three things. You can start as a sole proprietor, just do a name registration, Service Ontario, $60, easy peasy. Then another option is corporation. It costs a lot of money. Federal corporation costs $200. Ontario corporation is of now costing $300. Nuance fees are there for name searches and reservation, depending on how many searches you are conducting. Consider $20-25 on this. LLP is a structure when some of the corporations work together. Uh, we operate in LLP. Excel Alliance CPA is a limited liability partnership. At the back end, we have corporation. I have my own corporation. Other partners have their own professional corporation registered with CPA Ontario, and they are part of this LLP. There are benefits in LLP, and one of the benefit is that whoever is making whatsoever in LLP, I would say LLP is a mall and everybody has his own shop. This is very simple language I can say. So whoever is making money, they will take their money, pay the fees to the mall is a common fee, common element fee, and that's it. Corporation is better. It can help you to retain profits. You can plan taxes a little bit. Sole proprietorship is not the best way of doing business because of the risk, and you don't even have some of the tax advantages, not all. Now, when you are starting your business, the question is, do you want to start as a full-time or you want to start as part-time? Well, depends. If you have, like depending on how much money you need to pay your bills, if you have kept your money aside, I would say start full-time. If that is not the case, I would say do a transitional plan. How you can work on a transitional plan? Probably you are doing a job, and if you are in job, make sure your employer is not having an issue. If you are starting something part-time, or you may undertake another employment with another firm if your employer has no issues, because ultimately it depends on your employment and the type of agreements you have signed with them. So transition could be that you can start working with some time, you will learn the practice, you will understand the costing, and you will build your clientele, some portfolio. So what happens that the time when you decide to leave your job, you have something to start with, at least that might be able to cover most of your costs, or maybe give you some money for the time being. So this is something you need to plan based on your circumstances. Now, some of the costs we will go, but before this, one thing I wanna add is when you're starting a business, there are certain things you must have. And so these are the items. I will try to cover it now. So when you are starting your business, some of the small things like you know logo and artwork. This is must. You must get it done. Business card, you must get it done. Flyer or brochure, you must get it done. You need social media banners also. So hire somebody who can give you all those things as a part of the package. Then you second part is online presence. Make sure you have a good website and you have at least Google business profile, Google, so that you can show up on the map. Uh, at least have a LinkedIn profile for your firm and for yourself. And also, I would suggest have a Facebook page as well. So these are certain things you should have. But other than Facebook page, you can go to so many other platform, do analysis, because managing those platform, it will require a lot of time and it will require a lot of time. Once your business is set up, I would say get your e-file number from Canada Revenue Agency, because without e-file number, you won't be able to file your tax returns. Just to let you know that if you get an e-file number in any part of Canada, that won't work in Quebec, because Quebec has two return filing. So in rest of the Canada, we transmit both returns, federal and provincial returns, but they go through single e-file. But in Quebec, you need to have your own federal e-file, plus you need to have your Quebec e-file as well. Another thing is representative ID. Again, for Quebec, they have another ID, and for federal and all other provinces, they have another ID. With representative ID, what could happen that you could ask your clients to give you authorization, and from your own CRA account, you will be able to access their accounts and you will be able to do so many things. That's something must. Third thing is web access code, because some of the returns you can file only if you have a web access code, like T4, T5, and some of the information slips. Once your business is set up and you are done with CRA, make sure to have a phone number. And an auto attendant is something like when you call somebody, the auto attendant is a computerized system. It will pick up, hey, thank you for calling ABCD CPA or ABCD accountants or ABCD account tax. This is must, because without phone, what would happen that every call will land on your cell phone. This is not a good approach, especially when we are getting so many calls from India and China. That would make your life miserable. And having a phone system is very crucial. It has so many other advantages. You must get a fax number, because Canada Revenue Agency and so many other government bodies are still using a fax system. Most often you will receive fax, send fax. That's must. Domain, you need a domain registration, but be careful, pick up a good name, make sure it aligns with your company, business company or business name. And there are so many thefts going on. Probably you have heard about car theft, but domains are also getting theft. So make sure you sign up for a good provider who has a domain vault where you can keep your domain. Do not connect, do not have the domain and the hosting from the same provider. The result being that maybe down the line you will face some issues with the hosting provider, and if you want to walk away, then transferring out domain would be a problem. But if you have the domain in your vault, you can just go to domain, change the setting, redirect the domain to another provider, so be it Microsoft, Google, or anybody else. Have a hosting. Now, let me tell you that normally GoDaddy and all those hostings you have seen, these are not the standard. These are personal level hostings. Slightly above them, there are business hosting. In business hosting, the good part is that they tell you what the limits are, and you need to play within your limits. Nothing is free. Like GoDaddy will tell you that everything is free. Otherwise, government of Canada could have GoDaddy to offer everything for them, but definitely nobody would go there. People must understand that all those companies, be it FatCow, GoDaddy, whatsoever, these are for persons, and business hosting is slightly expensive. Better than business hosting is Google Hosting and Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 is an integrated solution, slightly costly, 10, 15, $20, depending on the package you choose per user per month. So I would suggest go with Microsoft. It will give you some advantages. And what happened that if you have a good hosting, when you're sending out emails, your emails won't get spammed. But with a lower hosting, probably few people click spam, and then your online score is doomed. Well, the next thing is decide whether you want to have virtual or co-working office space, or you want to work from home. Mostly everybody's working from home. But for example, at this point of time, I'm at my home, but the picture you see behind, that's my Mississauga office. I manage this office. So the reason we kept it, nobody goes there, everybody's working online. The reason we kept it, it gives some presence. When you attend meeting with a client, people know that you are stable, you will be here. It's not that you will get a slightly better job and then walk away. It will not be the case that in Dubai you got a better package and then you will walk away. Definitely this is something you want to do and people want to work with you. If you cannot afford an office space, go with a virtual address, get co-working options. Probably virtual offices start from $30. If you attend a meeting, it costs you $20. Definitely is a starting as a new entrepreneur, it may be slightly discouraging for you, but it would help you. If you don't have a physical presence, if you don't have a professional office, you will end up capitalizing some low level clients who would negotiate on cents and you will regret your decisions. Along with that, you would need the tools, probably Microsoft 365, Teams, whatsoever you want to have it. They all come with a cost. Adobe Acrobat Pro is a must. Not only that, most of the documents are coming in PDF. You can edit the PDF, but it also gives you e-signature. You can send engagement letters and collect signatures. So we covered this. Now, service part. What services you should offer? Well, services depends on like how much you can invest. When I started my practice, I went to meet one senior partner in Morrison Minan, Mr. Zakadan. And when I met with him, he was very helpful. He guided me on some of the things, but at that point of time, I couldn't, understood some of his points. For example, he told me to bring the list of services you want to offer, and I went with him with probably a menu. So what happened that, he said that would cost you $500,000 dirham. Do you have it? And I was shocked why it requires. It's me, or probably I would have a couple of staff to do that. Well, that was not the case, and I learned from my mistake. So that's the reason we reduce the services in this firm as well, to focus on certain, because each section you come up with, that would cost you 200 to $300,000. That's my analysis. So you may choose to go with the bookkeeping only and focus as a bookkeeping firm. You may decide to do bookkeeping plus tax. That's a package that, okay, you're doing accounting plus tax. And you may choose to offer a controller service. But what would happen that each service need to be marketed. You need to spend a lot of money on designing the content, designing the content writing, then designing those printing materials or soft copies, and then doing marketing. And for each service there will be a different audience. For example, if you are doing bookkeeping, you have a different kind of audience. Mostly bookkeeping are required by some middle-sized companies who would probably end up paying 2,000 to $3,000-4,000 a month. Definitely they don't want to hire an accountant to whom they pay $5,000-6,000 a month. So that's why they are looking for a bookkeeping firm to do their bookkeeping on a periodic basis. But when you're just doing like T2 write-up practice, it's like doing a little bit of accounting from here and there, and just the objective is to, kill the return. And when you're killing the return, the person is not concerned about what's going on. The person says, I want my return done and I don't want to pay much. So this is one of the service, and very small, uh, I would say smallest businesses in the world are the key client for these kind of services. Then controller or CFO service. Small companies don't require these services. Sizable firms, sizable organization, they would ask for a controller or CFO service. So your audience are going to be different. Assurance, again, people who go for financing, who are under regulatory requirement, they will go for it. At least some sizable businesses. So be careful. Make sure that you set a budget for 200 to $300,000 for whatsoever you want to start. If you want to start as a bookkeeping plus tax, okay, that's good to start with 200K investment. So now we will head back to now. When you are doing your practice, it's not that you know already, because practice has its own issues. And to learn all those things, to learn the technical knowledge, to learn the market trades, you require training. One is the technical side of it, another is the management side of it. So management side, probably you can get mentorship from somebody, use some legal resources to make sure you cover your risk and all those things. But on the technical side, you need to learn. Now, for example, if you want to learn accounting, I would say you can learn it for free online, lot of online resources, YouTube videos, some online free course providers, QBO, QBD, Sage, learn them. QBO stands for QuickBook Online. So some of the softwares are online, some of the softwares are desktop based. You can learn it. At least learn the payroll, because running a payroll in a software, but understanding the legality of the payroll, different boxes of T4 and HR side of it, not to be as a full-time HR professional, but learning the HR part of it. This is something you must know, because client would be coming to you and they want certain things done, and then probably if you make a mistake, you will be end up having a lawsuit. For tax T1, T2, you can see any, I would say maybe HR block. They can give you some insights, basic. They have also 3 or 4 levels, so each year they offer you one level. So probably, like, I would say it will take you 3 4 years to learn. But these are very basic things. You probably have learned to fill the form, but understanding tax concepts, understanding calculation, understanding relevant forms, this is a must. You must know. There are certain other courses offered by CPA. They call it in-depth. It takes take 3 years to learn tax, and some of the special areas like TEP, trust and estate planning. This is a separate designation, more relevant to trusts, estates, wealth management. Well, it would not cover the part of investment side, but at least how you structure your things to save on the tax. Maybe save on the tax to some extent, but at least plan your taxes. So it requires a lot of time. You would probably be required to do CPDs. Make sure you have access to some CPDs, not to just tick mark that you have done. You might have seen, unfortunately, when it goes to CPA and SCCA, these bodies, they don't provide hands-on technical or training. You sit down in their sessions, and then 2 3 gentlemen are just talking, and there is nothing somebody could learn. And unfortunately, these bodies, they claim later on that these are CPD verifiable. You barely learn the regulation, you barely learn technical things, and then 2 guys are talking and you're listening. That's not a CPD. For example, we are a CPA, CPAB, and PCOB registered firm. We understand the requirement for CPD. And Excel Alliance Academy is one of the company we use to deliver those trainings to our in-house team. Now, most of our trainings are focused on CSQM1, CSQM2, IFRS. A new IFRS is coming up right now, and changes in ASP, changes in assurance standards, changing in legal requirements, and so on. These are the technical things. Changes in tax. So every year tax laws are getting changed, new benefits are being introduced by the government. So you need to have a system in place where you can revamp yourself and get all those updates. So if you don't have access to these resources, you will probably have some information which is obsolete, and then you are serving clients, and probably clients who love your pricing, those are the clients who will stay with you. So we are a little bit overboard. Now, some of the costing I want to share with you, just to give you an introduction how they look like, and you have some idea. Neon searches probably takes $10. Name reservation at Neon probably $15. Federal incorporation $300. Ontario incorporation is $300. Federal followed by Ontario extra provincial. Extra provincial doesn't charge. You just need to pay $200 for the federal. CPA, when you go to CPA Ontario to register your firm, for probably name approval, they don't charge, but once you go for firm's final registration, there is probably $200-300 one-time fee. When you are a practicing member, in addition to your annual membership fee, you would be paying somewhere around 200 to 225 or 200 to 200, 250. I'm not sure about this number, but this number is close to these numbers. So they call it annual practitioner dues. If you are subject to inspection, the inspection fee for CP Ontario at this point of time is $550 per hour. Professional indemnity insurance is must, and you can get the professional indemnity insurance around $1,000 a year, probably $80 $90 a month. Commercial liability is optional, not required by CP Ontario. You can have that insurance under a CPA package, much cheaper. But if you go to another insurance company, they would probably charge you $100 $200 a month. Why under CP option that will be probably $20 $30 a month. Cybersecurity and all those things, depends on your business plan. Uh, uh, Website development, at least if you have the content, a good designer would probably charge you $400 $500 to be on the cheaper side from India and Pakistan, not from Canada. In Canada, they charge you $2,000 $3,000. You need the working capital, depending on how many services you want to have. $200,000 to $300,000 should be there with you. But if you are just starting as a layman, I would say that it would take you 15 years to reach your potential. Now it's up to you if you want to waste your potential or invest in your business. One advice from me: have a business plan. The reason is you guys are accountants. You are preparing business plan for your employers. You are good at critique. When things goes wrong, you can easily go back to your employer and say, listen, there's not enough working capital. We cannot manage cash flows. And these are the issues. The question is why you cannot do it for yourself. So if you want to make a good business plan, you can do it. Don't just test your faith that you want to do business and you hope everything to be positive. No, have you studied this, you are a chartered accountant, and you know how to prepare the business plan. Not only I would say prepare the business plan, but go to your mentor, go to your friend, colleague, whoever you believe. Make sure somebody provide weaknesses in your business plan. Then think positively, come up with the solutions to improvise your business plan. Make sure before you jump into the ocean, you have at least life jacket. So a business plan will help you to cover all those things. Now, last part, question answer. So if you can raise your hand, I would unmute you and you can ask the questions. Anyone with the questions? So here we have something. Okay, so wish. Navish, you can unmute yourself and you can speak.
Hello, thank you so much for having this session. It was very helpful. So, my question is, in order to register, you mentioned you can register with Ontario or federal. So, maybe if you can tell a little bit about the benefits, like what we should do, or like, and then you also mentioned the registration with CPA. Um, so once you do the name search, like which order would you go in? Would you register with CPA first and then register or corporation or something in Ontario or federal, or like what's the order? And
Okay.
second question is, at the moment, are you guys offering or like getting new partners if people wanna start like part time? So are you guys offering or getting new partners?
Okay. So let's follow the example of CP Ontario. So if you follow the order, the first thing should be that you must come up with a name. And then the second step is go to Nuance, do pre-searches, make sure that the name you have in your mind is available. If you have that name available, don't do registration, like don't do reservation, just search reports and make sure that the name is available. Go to CP Ontario and file a pre-approval, name approval. CP Ontario would approve your name if they don't have any other issues. Sometimes they come up with a question answer. They did with us. They asked us why you are selecting this name. We have provided them an analogy for this, and they approved. So once they approve, go back to Nuance, complete your reservation. Then after reservation, at this point of time, CPA do not offer federal registration. So you have to do it through Ontario, and it would cost you probably $300 to do Ontario registration. Once you do the registration, make sure that in the articles you include all those terms and condition in paragraph. CPA Ontario want you to have them in your articles. And once you are done with your incorporation, go back to CPA Ontario and apply firm registration, the final stage. And because they did the approval already, and you included all those terms and condition in your articles or those restrictions in your articles, they should not have any problem. They will approve your firm, and that's it. I would deviate here slightly. What's the difference between Ontario and federal? Federal in Canada, you can incorporate federally, you can incorporate provincially. Both options work. Provincially include territorial as well. Now, some of the provinces, they do not permit the federal corporation to operate in their provinces, and Ontario is one of those provinces. So what happens once you register a federal corporation, you need to do a Ontario extra provincial registration. At this point of time, federal government and Ontario government has an agreement, and Ontario government is not charging extra fees to do extra provincial registration. But if that could be a case, Alberta or something, you can do a federal corporation, but then you have to pay again the fees to do extra provincial registration in Alberta. That would probably $300-400 extra. Now, this depends on province to province. Some provinces may accept federal plus provincial. Some provinces may say federal is enough. Some provinces like Ontario would, and some others would say no, must be a provincial registration, not the federal. So depending on the case, this is how you must proceed with your registration. But if you are not a CPA, then you are not required to have this process done by CPA Ontario. Then the question is either federal plus provincial extra registration or directly provincial registration. Then what happens that in both of the laws, that is the Canada Corporation Act, then the provincial is another act. These are two different laws, and both of the laws, they have their own pros and cons. Such as the federal act requires that 25% of the director of the company must be Canadian resident, while the Ontario law had these kind of things, but they abolished it 3-4 years ago. So in Ontario, there's not a requirement for a resident. So similarly, these governance side, the ownership side, the directorship side, both of the laws provide different things, and this is based on your situation. If you want to be like practicing in Canada and you're not sure if you will be in Canada in the future, then federal is probably an option because Ontario is probably an option because once you depart, you don't have to hire a resident director to continue your regulatory requirement. Being a non-resident of Canada, you can still be part of the directorship, you can still be an owner, and it's easy for you. Now, second question which you asked, that do we accept partners? We used to accept partners. We had a bad experience, and we made our offering very limited to certain people who are extremely serious on their ambitions, and we are okay to have somebody joining us. And there is a process of 2 years, like somebody will go through an interview and all those processes, and then what happens that after that process, we will offer some sort of association, not a partnership, and we will observe how person is doing his business, and down the line in 2 years, we would approve for the person to become a partner, and if everything goes okay. Now, when we offer a partnership, we have two-tier partnership. So we call it equity partners. We call it non-equity partners, limited partners. So we don't offer everyone as an equity partner. There are certain conditions. For example, if I'm an equity partner, I invested in this company. So maybe my stake in this company is probably some amount. So if somebody is not matching that, so the other partners will not offer an equity partners because they would say that we have invested more and this person is just coming up as a part-timer or is not investing that much. So that's why we have kept a division between two category of partners. I hope I answered all those questions. So
No, thank you so much.
thank you. Kinza, you can ask the question. Any other question from anybody else?
Sorry, Yusuf. Can I ask one more question?
Okay, go ahead.
Um, I know, like partnership. As you explained, it is a difficult journey for everyone. Do you have like another like mentorship program, maybe? Someone starting out his own firm and looking for because you come with wealth of experience, or maybe in future you might be offering something like that, or
No, I won't be offering mentorship, but if there is a question, once a year, I don't mind answering. I know a lot of people in the industry, so many practitioners work with us. In fact, we have a collaboration program. So, for example, if somebody is offering accounting and tax services, we don't offer accounting and tax services. By the way, we are more focused on three areas. First off, one area is financial reporting and assurance. We are very good at it, and in fact, our strength is closer to big four firms. Then another area is the valuation. Again, we are fast growing on the valuation side. And third area is complex taxes. So what happens that most of the practitioners, single or maybe couple of partners working together, they don't have the expertise. They collaborate with us, and we help them to deliver those services. Now, one thing I would suggest that when you are entering in a business, line up some of the firms. We don't offer those services because it's hard. So we have tie-ups with some firms. Those are much bigger in size than us, much more technical in some areas. We pay them a couple of our, like some amount. We get their services, and what happens that when we get stuck, we need some questions answered. We go to them. We pay them hourly retainer. At least, they might be expensive, but the thing is that at least we got our questions answered. And for example, if you are doing an engagement that is probably $5,000 to $10,000, and if you end up paying $400 to $500 just to retain a professional to give you 1 or 2 hour advisory, that's a cost of the engagement. So have those kind of arrangements. Don't get into practice unless you have your resources ready. When I started my practice, I was very honest with my friends. Like, my friends pushed me to practice, and I was not the person who wanna go into this because I already invested in UAE. I learned my lesson that it's hard. Doing job is much easier. You can make more money being in job because when you are studying a big organization, you can make good money. But when you are studying a smaller organization whose profits are very, very shallow, then definitely you are not earning much. I would always suggest that being part of a bigger organization is much better than an Egyptian you know, in Egyptian, there is a saying. I used to work with an accountant who used to say that it's better to be a member of a lion group rather than the leader of a chicken group. So, so decide, make sure that this is something you want to do. You have lined up. My friends helped me to build this practice, and I'm very thankful for them. I don't mind, like recognizing their efforts, the time, and many of them they just helped me personally without any commercial benefit. If you have those kind of people with you, that's the probably opportunity to capitalize on. Otherwise, if you don't know how to deliver all those services, then it's not easy. Any other questions? But if somebody want to work, do some practice, I can. We will be having this recording probably on some platform where people can access it. So I cannot name you the firms we are using, but personally, if you want to come to me to know more, like once you are set up and then you need a tie-up, the firms we are using at the backend, I don't mind sharing those contacts with you. You can meet with them, and if you want to work with them, they will provide you backend support when you are stuck with something, because you will definitely be needing, services on quality control, your quality manual, peer review. Sometimes if you are doing some engagement, be it even a compilation, how to deal with different situation, different scenarios, it's not easy. And once you are in practice, be very careful that banks are having their list of black and gray listed accountants. So once you are part of them, then uh, you know you will end up losing clients. So you also need to make sure to provide services to certain clients. Those won't be defaulting with the banks and they won't cause you trouble. Okay, I think that's bring us to the end of this session. If anybody have a question, we can entertain one more and then that's it. Nothing? Okay. Let's end this conversation here. Thank you everyone for attending this session. Look forward to seeing you other sessions. You can provide your feedback. You everybody have my email address, and I will share a link for with you once this gets uploaded. And I will also be sharing the information with you if somebody would like to have a CPD certificate. Thank you.